Hi guys, Apprentice Alex here. And today, first off, I want to show off that I'm making some effort to make the setup for these talking head videos a little more professional, as it were. Still got a little ways to go, but at the very least, you get something behind me that's not just, uh, my tiny attic storeroom of a pseudo bedroom slash office. Um, you get one of my personal sword up there, my Messer Sax hybrid thing that I built, the Shepherd's Axe that my buddy Mike brought me back from Poland when he went over there to help with the relief effort for the war in Ukraine. And my AOA and Silver Tiger from the SCA. So, yeah, I'm going to try to keep figuring out things to, make this seem a little more professional. Anyway, with that out of the way, what I want to talk about today is something that came up when I've been talking with some friends, and one of the comments that I get asked more than any about being a bladesmith, about doing any kind of like armored combat sport, is how do I get started? And there is a video that I want to do down the line that's a little bit more instructive about the practical elements of that with bladesmithing. And I'll probably do something related to that with different combat sports as well. But some of the conversations I had with people got me thinking about something. And this, yes, it relates to bladesmithing. Yes, it relates to swordsmanship. But more importantly, it relates to any kind of passionate pursuit in your life. And that is giving yourself permission to suck. This might sound weird, but getting discouraged by lack of immediately apparent progress can be really hard for anyone to get over. And whenever you're approaching something new, something different, it's a really tough thing to deal with, the fact that you're gonna suck when you start out. And you can make steps to make that suck period as brief as possible, but it's still a hump that you're gonna have to get over. Now, and that's for really anything that you take on in your life at any period. Now, I'm sure you can always find some kind of example that's an exception, but those are extremely rare. And even then, there's probably things behind the scenes of a lot of those proteges that you don't realize. I'll use a boxing example. Floyd Mayweather Jr., undefeated champion of the world. He wasn't actually undefeated. He was undefeated as a professional. He had a very long and illustrious amateur career. I shouldn't say very long, but a very active amateur career before he went pro, and he did have a loss registered with the WBA as an amateur. Now, that's still one loss out of a lot of amateur fights and 50 professional bouts. That's incredible. But it doesn't change the fact that there was a learning curve there too. And, before he started formally fighting amateur bouts, I'm sure there were, sparring matches that, while maybe he didn't technically lose, he didn't have the advantage in either, because the goal isn't win or loss, but he was sparring with much more experienced people, etc., etc. Bring this all back around. I think it's really important when you're going into something new to accept that suck. Now, it's like Jake the dog says in Adventure Time. Sucking at something is the first step to being pretty okay at something. And to take that further, being pretty okay at something is the first step towards being not terrible. Pretty good. Eventually you get to that pinnacle that some people refer to as mastery. There's a reason I've chosen Apprentice Alex as Anachronistic Armory as the title for this channel. Because even if, I go back on Fortune Fire and I win some huge sum of money, even if I get my ABS Master Smith certification, even if I get spoken of someday 40, 50 years from now in the same breath as guys like Lin Ray, I still want to keep that title of apprentice. Not just because it's alliterative and really rolls off the tongue nicely, but also because I always want to learn. I always want to do better. There's always something more to learn, a better way to do things. And I feel like when you get to a point where you think that you don't have anything else to learn, that's kind of where things end. And a big part of that is accepting the suck. Because I personally find, and people might have different methods too, but I personally find there's been a lot of things I've dabbled in over the years, a lot of things I've tried my hand out and haven't stuck with. And when I think back and I compare those to SCA Heavy List and swordsmanship and the bladesmithing, the big difference, for me anyway, is that in these other things that I, kind of gave up and let fall to the wayside, I really was only concerned with the end result of that. Like, I multiple times in my life, I've tried to learn how to draw better. I mean, I can draw a stick figure, but I've tried to learn how to draw better. I've always had like a pipe dream of writing a comic, or something like that, and trying to get a little better at drawing so I can draw something, even something fairly basic, to try to make that a reality. And it just never. It never clicked with me. A lot of time was spent in my youth drawing, and I took some classes. I tried again while I was in college, then again a little later on, while I was living down in Massachusetts, and it just never stuck. And I realized it's because with the smithing versus the drawing, with the smithing I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with that catharsis of creation. And with the drawing, I was only concerned with the end result. I was only concerned with looking at something finished. And I couldn't find that same catharsis in the process. Another thing that I've actually managed to, through most of my life, maintain at is guitar, although I, kind of go in and out. And again, when I was first taking guitar lessons, it's like I wanted to play, my favorite Black Sabbath and Linkin Park tunes. But then, didn't really want to, put in the time and the work. Then sometime when I was in high school, I discovered just the joy in playing, the joy in the practice, the joy in getting better. And that changed everything, and I became very dedicated to the guitar for a long period of time. I still play. I don't play as much as I did because, well, I sing in a band right now, so I practice my singing a lot more. And I don't really play guitar in it, so I do pick up the guitar a few times a week, run some scales, some arpeggios, and whatnot. But it's that I find joy in the act of playing, not just the act of, playing Yngwie Malmsteen's Black Star, Jason Becker's Altitudes. With smithing, I find the joy in manipulating the hot steel, seeing it slowly take shape. And with the with the SCA, there's just something so freeing. This is kind of true about combat sports in general. There's something so freeing and just being able to cut loose. And even if you get your ass beat, like, you just fought, like, that's cool. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Throat getting a little dry. Going to have a sip of water. Anyway, I think that's a really important thing to know. So, this is Apprentice Alex reminding everybody, give yourself permission to suck whenever you're going to try something new, and fall in love with the process, not the end results. And at least that's what, for me, got me into some of the things that have really not just changed my life for the better, but saved it during a dark period. So, cheers, guys, and keep sucking and find your way. Hi, everybody. Apprentice Alex here, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in learning more about the details involved in the craft of bladesmithing, please check out our main channel at youtube.com/oldworldironworks. My teacher Bear already has a couple of great tutorial videos up there, which are a little older, but more is on the way. If you're interested in supporting the shop, then of course, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share the videos around. You can find us on our web store at oldworldironworks.net, or you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/oldworldironworks. Again, means the world to us. Thank you so much. Links in the description below.